Should I buy gold or should I buy Bitcoin? That's the question that we are getting asked, and that's the question that we're going to answer today in this video. Welcome. Should I buy Bitcoin or should I buy gold? That's the question that we're being asked. And to answer that question, I've got CEO of GoldCore, Stephen Flood. Now, Stephen, as CEO of a gold broking company, you are naturally going to say, I should buy gold, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think it very much depends on your motivation and the circumstances that you find yourself in. So they really are two different tools in the bag, and you use them for different purposes. There's a whole army of people behind both, the cases for both. And I think if you're looking at a problem with your portfolio and you're seeking a safe haven asset and you're looking for something that has a negative correlation to other assets in that portfolio, and it's part of a diversification, you're looking for some degree of safety, then gold is something that you buy and hold and don't transact. It just stays there. And it really comes to its own when things get a little bit hairy in the market and things are falling. Most of the items in your portfolio might be positively correlated, means that they move together, and they might be falling. And in that case, gold should normally, and has done throughout history many times, starts to rise and takes the sting out of that correction. Bitcoin is also considered a store of value by many people, and I think the jury's out in that regard fully, but the case is quite strong. Its credentials really are being touted as a form of money and a unit of measure, and to be used in transactions. And I think it's finding significant headwinds in that case. As a technology, it's very new, but it's also becoming very old and becoming antiquated. And we're seeing far more sophisticated offerings coming out of the crypto space that are really much more fit for purpose in terms of utility, the actual utility of a crypto token or currency in terms of what it can do and how it can deliver value for the owner and the beneficiary. So I think Bitcoin is really kind of the first one, the first ever decentralized currency that we've seen, and it's a fantastic thing that's happened. It's shown a great case study for currencies and decentralized networks that aren't controlled by central authorities and companies. And I think it asks great questions of our currency systems around the world. And I think what you're going to find is that the powers that be will start to embrace it as a concept, and they'll start to produce their own currencies that really take a feather from the cap of the crypto world. So I think Bitcoin is interesting as a transactional currency. It's actually very, very expensive. Just last year, I was looking up today in anticipation of this meeting. It was about 60 cents to transact a Bitcoin transaction on the decentralized network, and now it's gone up to $7.43, which is almost a 12-fold increase in costs, which really brings to the fore the latent problems that we have with the Bitcoin infrastructure, and that is that it's very, very limited. It can't be really expanded very much, and it doesn't really have a consensus in terms of how to take it forward from here. So we have far other better systems, such as maybe the likes of Ripple. I was looking at a network today called Stellar, which are really exciting networks for transactional flow, and they may become the standard in the future, or who knows, or maybe the Fed comes out with their own system in the future for cryptographic transactions, or even the Chinese. Watch that space.
So what does gold have then that Bitcoin doesn't?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, like, gold is a kind of a bellwether asset. It's very, very limited. It's physical. You can literally put it on a shelf, and it becomes, undeniably there in terms of its physical form. It's very difficult to steal or to move in any volume without leaving a trail. The authorities like it, governments like it. Anybody who's looking to create a kind of a foundational level to their assets will embrace gold as a kind of a bellwether investment. Bitcoin is still, it's untested. It's very much digital. It's it can be compromised. I mean, who knows what happens when AI comes to the fore? Will these hashing algorithms that Bitcoin is based on fall foul to advanced AI computer systems and power? I don't know. Right now, it looks like miners, who are these unknowns, have a huge amount of power over the Bitcoin infrastructure, and might start calling the shots into the future. I think it's an interesting experiment. But that really, at this point, is all it is. I don't think it's going to become a currency currency powerhouse for the future.
And then let me ask you this then: does it have a role in a portfolio just from a speculative point of view, or how does Bitcoin's role in a portfolio compare with gold's role in a portfolio?
A lot of people are embracing Bitcoin. You see these huge headlines where massive allocations, 100 million here and there, are being brought to the market by institutional investors. Ultimately, it's based on their mandate from their investors. If they want to take those chances and speculate, listen, that's completely fine. We want a market with speculators in it. It makes it price discovery is all important, and they have a role to play. But I do think the case for it is very, very speculative at this stage, and I'm not sure any fund investor with a narrowly defined mandate should be investing in it per se. It's like a warehouse with nothing in it. It doesn't really have much utility at the moment, and I don't see where the use case is going to come from, other than the fact that it's suddenly become popular more because of its price movement than in any utility or use case where it's delivering value to anybody in its own right. So at the moment, I think it's really it's showing all the signs of a very speculative move, a bubble. It might prove, it might go an awful lot higher. Who knows? But I think if you're there's no harm in throwing a few dollars at it if you can afford to lose them. If you are sitting on significant gains, I think that you should take some profits, because the prices are very elevated, and I think at that stage it might serve you well.
So you're saying that as of yet, it's not proven to be a store of value?
No, I think it's far too volatile to be a store of value. It seems to be moving on its own price momentum, and new players coming in, institutional. You see a lot of Bitcoin bugs are lauding the fact that institutions are embracing it. I think they're probably the worst bedfellows to have if you're looking for key strength and support in a new asset. They are a very fickle bunch, and they will drop you as fast as you can imagine.
So there you have it. Bitcoin, not necessarily for the faint-hearted. It does have a place in an investment portfolio, but according to Stephen Flood, CEO of GoldCore, it's much more towards the speculative end. And if you're looking for a store of value, we're going to still focus on something that's had thousands of years of proof and history behind it, and that is gold.